We've done a series the last while on human trafficking, and I've spoken to quite a few professionals regarding human trafficking, what it is exactly, what it entails, and also the threats and some of the statistics. We also got that from the Police Performance magazine. And today I've got the privilege to speak to Elizabeth McCulley. She is the CEO of STOP, and they are here in Cape Town. And we're going to talk about the work that STOP does. Many people have a certain idea of human trafficking, and it's mostly what they see on television or in a movie, or what they've spoken about around the Briarflace fires. But there's a little bit more to it than we might think. So today we're going to speak to Elizabeth, who is a specialist in this field, and she will be able to give us more of an idea as to the work that they do, but also what human trafficking really is in South Africa. So they say that their vision is to combat all aspects of human trafficking, and they do this through prevention, awareness, advocacy, and support. And the support part we'll talk about at the end of our conversation. Elizabeth, great to have you.
Thank you, Wanda. It's such a privilege to be here today, and thank you for your time.
So when we talk about STOP, we all think it stands for Stop Human Trafficking, but just give us a breakdown what the acronym STOP stands for.
So it's for Stop Trafficking of People.
What is the core mission of STOP? We know that there are other organizations as well, and each organization play their role.
Yes.
Many people ask, why don't all organizations work together? Well, simply because the calling differs, and there are different roles for each one. But STOP has a very specific mission, and I've sort of mentioned that in the intro. But what is the core mission of STOP? So you can explain that to us.
Thank you. Yeah, so it's exactly what you say. Our mission, our vision, our mandate is to combat all aspects of human trafficking, and we do this through preventative awareness, education, and in our education we have age-appropriate programs that we actually present at the schools, and also victim support.
That's absolutely amazing. So you're a whole team. It's not just you've got a whole team working with you. Just give us a bit of a breakdown in terms of what the team looks like.
Yes, so we basically two people at the office, operations and myself.
Yeah.
And then we've got volunteers. STOP cannot do what we do without our volunteers, because they go out with us and do all the presentations to make sure that everybody's loved ones are safe.
Yeah.
They know what to do, they know what is a scam, and they are educated in these programs.
Yeah, that's quite interesting, because I think there's a lot of people who would love to get involved with the work that STOP does. But we'll also maybe elaborate a little bit more on the procedure or the process, how to get involved with STOP then. If we look at your career, your past, how did you specifically feel called, or how did you get involved with STOP?
So it's actually through a friend that asked me if I don't want to just come and help out for a few hours a day or a week to do a bit of admin.
Yeah.
And 6 years later, I'm sitting here, and admin became a little bit more.
Yeah, more admin, more boots on the ground, as they say.
Yes.
What forms of trafficking are most common in South Africa?
In South Africa, you'll see the sweatshops at the moment that's in the news.
Yeah.
That's a form of labor trafficking, where they take children and they put them in these factories to work ridiculous hours. The other one is in all countries, there's sex trafficking, because that's a big market. But in South Africa specific, we look at the people begging on the street. That's called forced begging. So it's quite sad that people are being forced to beg, and they don't actually get the stuff that they're begging for.
Yeah, and sometimes it's not even their children.
Exactly.
You'd see the mom with a baby, not saying it's true of all of them, but and we don't want to be judgmental, but the fact of the matter is no baby should be on the street begging for money. No child, underage child should be on the street doing that, right?
That's 100%.
Yeah.
We found a case in Seapoint where they actually took children from different areas to Seapoint because they get quite a bit of cash on the roads, because people, just want to make themselves feel better, so they give cash, but they're actually paying towards a crime. Those children need to be in school.
What are the biggest misconceptions the public still has about human trafficking?
Basically, when it comes to human trafficking in South Africa, they believe that it won't happen to them.
Yeah.
But there's no discrimination when it comes to human trafficking for monetary gain. And secondly, the sad thing is, because sex trafficking is the highest form of human trafficking.
Highest meaning the most profitable.
Yes, and the most people being used for it.
My goodness.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah. So the biggest misconception when it comes to human trafficking is when it comes to prostitution and sex trafficking. Prostitution, yes, there is people that it's their choice and they get the benefit from what they do. But when it comes to human trafficking, people are being taken, they get put into a situation where they get beaten and raped to submissiveness so that they can be used, but they never get the funding. That is the big difference. A lot of people, I mean, I heard a lady once said, a prostitute wants to be on the street.
Yeah.
Which is not true. If you see a pimp around, that person is there because they have to be there. It's not by choice.
And the conversation we had with Pinky, one of your survivors that you've helped and assisted in her recovery process, something that she mentioned to me that really gave me a better understanding as to how they actually get involved. So sometimes it would be somebody who just comes from a very bad or a poverty-stricken background, and they would be the ideal victims, the ideal people to fall victim to human trafficking. So I think when we look around us, we might be witnessing human trafficking in action and not even know it, simply because we have a certain perception of what it should look like. So forget about the movies and just look around you, because Cape Town is one of the hot spots, as we know at the moment. Who is most at risk, and why would you say that, according to your studies and your experiences that you've had so far?
Everybody. Even a household where a child is secure.
Yeah.
Lately, they actually use online grooming. So your child, 16, is sitting at home and is upset with mom, got earphones on, but she's actually being groomed by a human trafficker. It's actually become very easy for human traffickers to find their victims because they do it online nowadays. Whether it's through job opportunities on Facebook, whether it's through gaming, they make sure, and it's a long process. Grooming takes time.
And they're very patient.
100%, because they know the benefit they'll get monetary-wise with that.
That's so sad.
It's very sad.
And which says to me that what we should be looking at in South Africa is, if we say the family unit is important, the family unit is not just there to create a healthy society or a healthy future for our children, but it's also to keep our children safe.
Yes.
Because loving them and protecting them is part of your responsibility as a parent.
100%.
Yeah, but when relationships go wrong, they are actually open to any influence, or they can fall victim much easier.
Yes.
What are the signs that ordinary people should look for? I know we're going to speak to Marianne, one of your volunteers, a little bit later as well. But what are the signs that we should be looking for? We see the hand signal.
Yes.
We've seen a lot of those sort of alarms being raised. But how do I see it? For instance, I've got neighbors and there's some weird activity. You just get a feeling that something's not right.
Yes.
But we also jump to conclusions, and then we bother the police and they come out, and then there's a problem. Help us to be knowledgeable and to look out for the right things, the right signs.
So mostly, like, we had a case here in the Western Cape, where a lady saw that there were Asian children, so they couldn't speak English or Afrikaans, different ages, but like 13 in a 3-bedroom unit. She knew something's wrong.
Yeah.
And we always say, rather say something and let them investigate, and it's nothing, than a child being trafficked and at the end of the day could be killed.
Yeah.
So we want the children to go back to their original country where they were born, But yeah, if you see something, say something.
Yeah, don't keep quiet.
Yeah, it's important when a child doesn't look at you and they're shy or there's bruises to make sure that you make eye contact.
Yeah.
For instance, once again, for my grandson, I would teach him, when somebody takes you, you fall down, and this is the time you're allowed to fall down, but you don't
And
just
fall a
scream.
tantrum.
No,
Not.
you scream, this is not my mommy, this is not my daddy, and you show the international help sign. So he knows if something goes wrong, people will take note because there's not his mom or his dad.
Yeah. Next time your teenager gets her tail in a curl, just be careful, don't show her the sign or teach her not to use it, otherwise people will come running and maybe arrest you in the process. But we joke about this, but you know what, I wonder if I can even now for a minute remember the sign. Just show us that sign again.
So it's help me. Help me.
There we go. So it's help me. And that's all you have to show. You can just draw attention to yourself, and like we've seen on social media, thank goodness social media is also showing, you know, the important facts and the important things that we should know.
Yes.
But also there are also some misconceptions being, you know, propagated there. So a person must just be careful.
100%. It's like a lady that was, a little girl was on the aeroplane. That's why it's so important for us to do preventative awareness campaigns, so people know what to look out for. So this little girl was standing at the toilet on the in the aircraft. Behind her little bag, she had help me. The air hostess noticed it, and by the time that plane landed, that little girl was separated from her trafficker and sent back to her country.
Can you believe it?
Yes.
For our people who are on podcast, just to sort of describe to you what it looks like. So you basically open your hand like a stop sign, and then you fold your thumb inwardly, and then the rest of the fingers over the thumb. And that's your sign to show, you know, that you are in danger and that you need help.
Yes.
So make sure that you teach your children that. I think it's very important to teach them that, teach them the signs, and sort of drill it into them without making them, you know, fearful and stressed about the environment unnecessarily.
Yes.
What does effective prevention look like on a community level?
So the reason why we do preventative awareness, if you look at our stats, there's 5 million people currently trapped in human trafficking. 2 million children get sold into the sex trade on a yearly basis.
Wow.
So yeah,
Shocking.
and only 1% will ever get rescued. And that's why for STOP for the last 18 years is preventative awareness campaigns so important. Because prevention is better than cure.
Absolutely.
So so for us, all our age appropriate programs are important. We even do a little puppet show. Then you think, oh no, I don't want my 4-year-old to know about it. We don't talk about human trafficking. We talk about safe people and unsafe people. So they understand that some people grabbing me is not safe.
Yeah.
So we do different programs for different ages.
Yeah, and that's fantastic, because if we can teach our little ones to be vigilant and knowledgeable, you know, we just create a safer society, and that's what we want. That's what we're working towards.
Yes.
How can people practically support STOP's mission? Even though you do not go out and rescue the victims yourself, there's a whole operation, there's a whole infrastructure that goes with it, and it's costly. You work with a lot of volunteers, but we all know that, you know, volunteering takes you that far, but then there are definite resources that are costly. How do you go about raising funds, and how can people actually contribute and make a difference?
We're a public benefit organization, which means we are 18A certified for tax rebate certificates. So anybody doing any donation can actually, instead of paying more tax, benefit by having a tax rebate as well as supporting us. And you can do it in 3 ways. We've got SnapScan, which is on our website. And we also have our debit order system, which is lovely. I mean, for the person that's got 50 Rand a month, as little as 50 Rand a month,
you won't even feel it.
You won't feel it, and you can make a difference.
Right.
And then we've got the EFTs as well.
Yeah, so let's do that. On our video for YouTube, we will put the SnapScan scan there on the screen. And other than that, we'll also give you all the details on the video. You can just have a look in the caption on our social media, and for the podcast, you will find it in the bio. Get all the information there. get involved, make a difference. This is not it's not my problem. This is a societal problem. It is a future problem. It is currently destroying the economy. It's destroying our children, and it is creating a world of fear and of abuse that we can make a difference just by contributing, just by getting involved in whichever way you possibly can. So let's make this world a better and a safer world for our children. What message of hope would you like to leave with our viewers and our listeners of our podcast?
I think knowledge is power. If you
Absolutely.
know what to do, when you know there's a job scam, I just quickly want to stop on.
That is a very, very, before we end off, I'd like to definitely touch on that one, because it happens all the time. All these call centers calling you.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Yeah.
Quickly.
So we've actually got an agency, Prevention versus Cure,
Right.
where we've got a private investigator that will check whether your job is legit or a scam.
Yeah.
So that you know, I mean, that's when Nola Pinky came to South Africa
Yeah.
thinking she's coming for a job opportunity.
Yeah.
And it wasn't, she was scammed.
Yeah.
So that's why we started this agency. It's a part of STOP for because prevention is better than cure.
Yeah. And social media, people can go and have a look there. They can just visit STOP,
Yes.
STOP, STOP,
Yes.
On social media. Is that the handle?
Yeah, so it's Stop Trafficking of People.
Okay.
It's www.stoptrafficking.org.za.
Right, .za. Thank you so much for your time, and I just pray that God will bless STOP, but keep you healthy and keep you wise and make you assertive and alert, so that whenever you connect with people, there will be an authority release where people will realize they do not really have an option. It's not really a choice. It is something that we all have to get involved in, and that is the prevention of the trafficking of people. So stop trafficking of people. I spoke to Elizabeth McCulley. She is the CEO of Stop the Trafficking of People in South Africa, and she's been involved in this organization for many, many years, making a huge impact. And if you'd like to speak to her or one of her volunteers, maybe you've got a ladies' morning, or you've got a school conference or a workshop, and let me tell you, the corporates, you guys need to come on board here, because this is a problem that is not isolated to a certain community. And as corporates, we need to come on board with funding, with our support, but also to really just teach and inform our people about the realities of the trafficking of people and the problem that we have in South Africa. So let's get involved. Invite them. We'll give you all the details. It'll all be on the recording at the bottom with the description. Get it. Contact them and get involved with STOP. Thank you.
Thank you, Wanda.